There's something in the air, a dream of life in love, with minds that rest in prayer, sparking joy we're in awe. No matter where your path has been or time will somehow flies, like souls will come home again, true friendship ever thrives. Is this where the magic happens? Can you feel the farce revealed right now in you and me? The secret is wherever we are. There's something in a smile that can turn a day around. Moments so worthwhile when we find common ground. No matter what the day might bring, right here we can align, knowing that we will be seen as perfect, whole, divine. 'Cause this is where the magic happens. Let's feel all the parts, from close to me and me to you. The secret is wherever we are. So meet me where the magic happens, feeling all the hearts ignited now in you and me. The secret is wherever, the secret is whenever, the secret is together we are.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Oh, when we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Well done, Alan. Thank you. I hope everybody knows that they're welcome here, and we're very proud of our community. So anyway, I'll have Alan back in just a few more minutes. And before we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about Centers for Spiritual Living St. George, who is who we are. Well, let's start with our purpose. And our purpose revolves around the use of the acronym ARISE, where A in the ARISE is for awareness, R is for radical responsibility, I is for inside out living, S stands for spirit, and spirit is all there is, and that is one of our core beliefs. And E is that everyone is evolving at all times. So our vision is that we are a community-focused center, actively living, sharing, and nurturing our members and friends so that all may live their best lives. Our mission is that we are an open, inclusive, and evolving spiritual community that supports our purpose and vision through the following activities. One is sacred wisdom celebrations. We also are planning empowering transformative education, youth and young adult programs, dynamic music ministry, community inreach, and community outreach. Today's service is, I feel like it's a soap commercial brought to you by, no, never mind. I'll be your host today. The rest of the team, you've already seen Alan Stanley. He'll be doing a little more music for us. The slide shows Tony Kovach as our tech, but she is a little under the weather today, so Marina Anderson is filling in for her in that capacity. In a few seconds, we'll have Sue Fulmer on, one of our practitioners here, and she will do both the invocation and the reading for us today. And of course, our Reverend Joe Kovach will be bringing us the talk and the message, and we are so happy to have all this team together for this today. Just a couple more announcements. Following the service today, or the celebration, we'll have a Zoom meeting. And we can talk. You can talk to Reverend Joe about his talk and what give you an opportunity to dive a little deeper in some of the concepts that he is talking about. I'm really interested in finding out what shedding our skin is all about. So I'll be there. We also have this month we have 3 in-person services. The first of which is next month, obviously, this month. Next week, the 14th, 7 days from today, where we'll talk about crackly to supple. I guess that's still a skin reference. And here's the others. So the 14th, we will have Reverend Joe talking about crackly to supple. On the 21st, we've got a lot of stuff going on, but Reverend Joe and Reverend Rachel will be doing a kind of a joint talk. And then on the 28th, Reverend Rachel will be solo, as she always does on the 4th week of the month. But on that 21st, loads of stuff going on. So after the talk, we will have our holiday celebration. So we invite everybody to bring a potluck or something that you think you can share with the rest of us. And if you need pointers, I can put together a list of the things that I would like. But just bring something yummy and share it, and that'll be on the 21st. And then later that afternoon, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we're all going to trip out to the Kayenta Labyrinth, and we're going to have a winter solstice celebration event. Just be sure to bring a light. We'll also have a drum circle going on, so bring some kind of percussion instrument, and that can be something as simple as a coffee can. You don't have to have an elaborate drum, but something to sit on and some warm clothes, because I'm sure once the sun starts going down behind the mountains, it gets a little chilly out there. So anyway, that's in the afternoon of the 21st. I mentioned that Reverend Sue Fulmer will be doing our invocation and prayer today. She is one of our full-time practitioners. Stephanie Sterrett is also a practitioner, as am I. So any of the three of us would be more than happy to pray for you or with you at any time. If you happen to be at a Sunday in-person Sunday service, just pull one of us aside afterwards, and we'd be happy to help with prayer. Otherwise, you can jump on the website and click on one of our pictures and leave us an email, and then we get everybody involved in praying for you. We're always looking for volunteers. I mean, that's how we build our community. So we do currently have openings, and we're hiring for a soundboard tech, video streaming tech, for greeters, Anna Kanata does a great job, but she's not always there, and it's always fun to have a couple extra greeters moving around. And then the kitchen support, that we tend to we like to put out food for everybody for our in-person services, and we can always use help in the kitchen getting that done. So if you're interested in any of those roles, please see one of us next Sunday. Speaking of practitioner Sue Fulmer, she has been working on a workshop that's called Do You Speak Woo Woo? And it includes a number of really interesting things, and some would say kind of fringe things, near death experiences, clairvoyance, synchronicity, energy healing, tarot cards, and oracle readings, things like that. If that's something you're interested in, she will be having a workshop just after our December 28th service. So see Sue at any of the upcoming in-person services, and she can fill you in on how that's going. Okay, we're going to bring Alan back in, as you don't want me to sing this song. And take it away, Alan.
Thanks, Bill. I have a few things to add to your potluck wish list, so I'll be getting a hold of you. So we're going to ease back a little bit here, take it easy, and sing a song written by a good friend of mine, Judy Blackwelder in Nashville, Tennessee, and also music mentor of many people. And then Sue's going to come along afterward and offer our reading and invocation. So just sit back and relax. Come along. In the silence of this moment, there's a holy presence near. In the silence of this moment, Spirit whispers and I hear. In the silence of this moment, our search for hope is done. In the silence of this moment, God and I are one. In the silence of this moment, there's a holy presence near. In the silence of this moment, Spirit whispers and I hear. In the silence of this moment, my search for hope is done. In the silence of this moment, God and I are one. God and I are one.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank
I'm
you,
happy to
Sue.
be here today. I'm sharing a reading first, and it is from this month's daily guides in the Science of Mind magazine. What a treasure that is. If you don't have it, please subscribe. It's got wonderful articles. And my favorite part is the daily guide, where you get a daily thought. They're written this month by Reverend Dr. Michael Gott. He's well known for his contributions to the music of New Thought. This entry was meaningful to me. He wrote, "The personality is a construct, a skin we wear to navigate the human world. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's a false self, but it's not our truest self. Each of us is a unique, irreplaceable, unrepeatable expression of the divine." He continued writing about an image that came to him of light pouring through a beautiful stained glass window. Picture the gorgeous windows of ancient cathedrals and in modern art. He wrote, "The beauty of the images gave me an insight into the dance of human and divine. The pure white light of spirit, undifferentiated, shines through all of our human qualities, gifts and talents, frailties and flaws, creating something beautiful." And so we are the image of that light showing through us. As we grow and evolve, we shed many layers of old behaviors and thought patterns, but some remain, and that's okay. The essential light that we are makes even our less than perfect human selves beautiful too. Affirm with me, I allow my humanity to be illumined by the truth. Now join me for a affirmative prayer. In this sacred moment of prayer, I lift my voice, recognizing the perfect presence of Holy Spirit. I feel God within all things, around, through, and even inside of me. That is where that spark resides. That light of God is within. I find it as I read and study and as I attend these Sunday celebrations. I get warmed by the Spirit. I get warmed by the philosophy and guided and directed by the things that are spoken here and that are part of this study. Seeing that it comes from truth throughout the ages and throughout all forms of religion and pathway to God. As humanity strives to know who we really are. I am grateful for this day that we have our minister speaking and know that that word will reach our hearts and will speak to each of us right where we are and right for what we need to progress and evolve. As we arise in our own lives, in our relationships with Spirit, I am grateful for this beautiful day, for this Sunday service, for those who give of their time and talent and energy to keep CSL St. George going and thriving. We welcome all who are seeking this joy, who are seeking friends, who are seeking inclusion. This is our spiritual home. And I am grateful for it. And I release my word knowing that it goes into the law of creation, and it is, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Sue. Thank you. I've got a little bit about the subject today, the shedding our skin. I'm always working on something like that. I don't know if I'm shedding my skin, but I am working on, as Sue Riley says, sweeping up my own side of the street. So you're welcome to sing along. Well, I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, clearing out the clutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quiet enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, tending my own garden every day, taking time to stop and smell the roses on the way, planting what I want to see, pruning what's not serving me. I'm tending my own garden every day. Hey, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Every step I take just moves me closer to my dream. Your grass might be a brighter green, that's for you, but not for me. Yeah, I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, clearing out the clutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quiet enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. Not gonna be the first to cast a stone. Don't point a finger at your faults, got plenty of my own. When I talk that judgment beat comes back like a boomerang, not gonna be the first to cast a stone. 'Cause I'm sweeping up my own side of the street, clearing out the clutter, pulling up the weeds, finding out it's quite enough, taking care of my own stuff. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. I'm sweeping up my own side of the street. Yes, I'm sweeping up my own side of the street.
Taking care of my own stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. All right, I am here to introduce our speaker today. Reverend Joe Kovach is with us in the house.
Good morning.
And going to tell us all about our skin.
Something like that. Kind of a whole dermatological session today. Good morning, Bill. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, Alan, for the lovely music and excellent reminder before we're casting judgment. Let's take care of our own stuff here, eh? And maybe just avoid the judgment altogether. And welcome to this Sunday celebration. I don't want to forget to thank Sue for the reading and the beautiful prayer. And that's what it's all about, really, just surrendering to that. And speaking of surrendering, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So good morning. Welcome to our celebration. Thank you for being here. And welcome to a brand new month, shedding our skin. We'll have some fun topics, and we're going to have some fun. And again, a reminder, we're meeting the next 3 weekends in a row. So please join us. And I do want to tout that the holiday celebration, we will have Mark Boggs playing for us as our musical entertainer of the day. If you were with us for our installation, Mark was the entertainment, the pianist for that. And we're going to be staying afterwards and doing sing-alongs. So a total celebration for our community. Please join us. Back to our regularly scheduled program today, surrendering into newness. And so we're going to be talking, of course, as we almost always talk about, spiritual evolution, and particularly today about willingness, and about the art, and I'm going to call it the art of letting go. It is an art. It's a sacred art, really. And why do we want to talk about this? Because as we let go, what we're letting go to is a greater expression of life happening to and through and for us. Breathe that in for a moment. That's a beautiful attitude to wake up to, that life is happening through me and for me. It's about discovering the possibilities that maybe we have some resistance we're pushing against. And again, as we're pushing against, we're holding back that which divine spirit is desiring to express through us. And so through today's talk, I want you to hold this earnest quote in your mind. And, you know, I love things that are simple yet profound. And this is one of them. And he says that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker that which they think into it. Now, we've heard this a million times, yet what is showing up in your life and how are you viewing it? Because if your life isn't the life of dreams, then we have to take that radical responsibility and recognize I'm the one casting that thought that is then bouncing off the mirror of life and returning to me. So let's keep this quote in mind today, please. Again, if we're thinking from fear, if we're thinking from contraction or clinginess, life is going to reflect that back. But if we can shift, evolve into a mindset of openness, a mindset of surrender, then life will reflect that back through expansion in our lives. Are you ready? That was a segue to our first talking point, which is readiness. It sounds simple, but let's be honest. The first step of evolving and surrendering is being ready. Because without being ready, nothing in our consciousness will shift. Think about this and think about a time as I say this, right? There's a time when we want change. There's a time when we pray for change. But yet until we are actually ready, and ready for what? Well, ready means we're ready to release the old patterns, the old paradigms, the old behaviors that have a hold on us, release those into, again, that new expression. Until we do that, all that goodness has nowhere to be expressed through. Now, I don't know if you've watched the new series of Stranger Things, and I am enjoying it. But I love how they include the 80s and Dungeons and Dragons, because that was a big part of my life growing up. And it still is, in the sense of I love playing role-playing games. And the way I look at being ready is this idea that I have this cloak of faith that I call. And on this cloak, because I'm ready, this cloak mentally, I have everything that I need for this next journey or exploration, this experience. Now, what I carry with me is, in one pocket, I carry that desire, that divine energy that's saying yes, that kind of like just leads me. It's the power and the presence all in one. And then in the other pockets that I have on this cloak are my spiritual tools that I always bring with me, of prayer, of meditation, of contemplation. And the biggest thing that represents for me is, as I have this on, I have the faith to carry out what I need to carry out. That means I'm recognizing my oneness with the power that is of God, of spirit, of source. So, do you have a cloak of faith? If not, maybe you have something different, and that's okay. But reminder, from the science of mind, that we're always demonstrating what our concept of life is. And meaning whatever's showing up is what we understand life to be. We can shift that. We can change that. But we cannot have it show up beyond our understanding of it. That kind of goes back to what I was saying, being ready, because often things are ready and they're waiting. And then all of a sudden you have that aha moment where you're like, I have heard that 100 times. And yet, that happened to me last week. I was watching a YouTube video and he was saying something that, and I'm not going to go off into it, but like a common, I've heard this before. And yet it was like exactly what I needed in that moment to shift me. Right. So being ready is being ready to, being ready and willing to let go of what we think we know. Hear that. Right? What we think we know keeps us generally in our comfort zone, and comfort is not the same as growth. Hear that. Comfort is not the same as growth. So when we're clinging to the old, especially the old in the sense of something that no longer serves us, we recognize there's something going on, but yet we're afraid because we don't know what it looks like yet, what it feels like. That's where faith comes in. If we trust in the idea that whatever is coming through us is always happening for us, okay, then we will be open to that new expression. But as we cling, what we're really doing is blocking that which knows, right? The infinite intelligence that God is, we're blocking it through its natural creative process through us. So we block this unfolding that is trying to happen because we're simply not willing to trust. But as we trust the process and we shift to that mindset, and we get the demonstration, the circumstances, the events, the people that show that life is happening for us. So being readiness is really a faith-filled choice that is us cooperating with divine presence and power of God. Now, one of the examples that came to me was simple, which is this idea of flowers opening. Like, if they're resisting, like it wants to express itself, but what if it was comfortable all by itself, kind of, closed up? Doesn't want to. It's not sure of what it's going to be like. What happens when it opens itself to the beautiful sunlight? What's that going to be like? It doesn't know. But yet there is this desire, this natural desire to expand, to express. And there is something within it, that innate intelligence that says now. And as it surrenders and yields, its beauty expresses. And all are the benefit of that. And I believe that we are the same, that there's this like inner pressure, inner urge, inner desire that is spirit, that is attempting to come through. And we just simply have to have the mindset of being ready for it. And there are times in my life when the one that I can recall personally was I was working at this particular school for like 8 years, which is the longest I've worked anywhere in my life. And it was a very rocky time for me. A lot happened. And it's one of those periods of my life where I go back and I'm like, I'm glad I'm better than I was then. At the same time, I knew that things were shifting. And at the end of the year, there weren't enough students to maintain the number of counselors we had. So I got surplus. And I knew I was going to get surplus because I was kind of the outlier of the group. And yet, once I surrendered to that idea, a whole new idea just showed up. I had a friend who knew a friend who was opening a brand new school. It was a charter school. Charters were brand new idea. But to me, it was like, oh my gosh, it's a whole fresh start. There's all these opportunities. And for me at that time, it was perfect. Now, it wasn't just like, oh, I'm happy. No, I had to go through. I knew I was going to get surplus. So I had to deal with the resistance of that and my negative judgments and thoughts to get to the point to where, maybe at that time where it was my mindset, this is happening for my greatest good, right? So another quote that fits in line with this idea is Ernest Holmes says, readiness precedes receptivity. What does that mean? It's until we're ready, then the full idea will be expressed. But if we're kind of like, we have this thing coming and we're just kind of keep pushing against it, we're never going to get the full picture until we say yes to it. We have to remain open, which brings us to point number 2 that I want to make. And a foundational phrase in religious science is being open at the top. And Ernest Holmes used this because he described his teaching as being open at the top, which spiritually is basically what? Being spiritually receptive, having the recognition that life is forever expanding. That which we know now, that which he taught and we continue to follow today is great, but sooner or later, and it's true, there will be another, in essence, greater truth because of our expansion of mind. There is no finality to spirit, Ernest says. There is no completed revelation, he says. In other words, it's forever and ever and ever. Yet, we're dealing with what is in the moment. So being open at the top is understanding that this newness that is coming through us is endless, that our growth is infinite and eternal. It will continue on past this life experience. And it is all about having the intelligence to understand it. And part of that intelligence is the intelligence of being open, because you're so in line with understanding what spirit, God, life is. It's not even allowing it anymore because you recognize it as yourself. Not small self, but you're recognizing you're of it, of life itself. So therefore, fear goes out the window because life would never hurt itself, do anything to contract itself. Okay. We do that through our experience of understanding what life is. So being open at the top is or requires that certain level of intelligence where we're welcoming the new, we're welcoming new understandings, new teachings, new behaviors. We're allowing spirit, and I'm going to use the word trusting spirit, having the faith in spirit to guide us through that unfamiliar territory or land. Again, going back to D&D, that every quest you're unfamiliar with, and you trust your senses either on your own or as a group. Okay. And, you know, it can be difficult. It's not to say not to be optimistically cautious. Like we have to, you know, we're in this reality. So if I'm hearing a loud noise, I don't want to be like, oh, everything's happening for my best and high is good. I mean, I may want to look around. I may have to duck, dodge, or get out of the way. What we're saying is recognizing in the greater picture of things that I can release parts of myself that I know no longer serve me, even if I'm not sure what that is trying to move through me into my life. I trust it. We're shedding our old skin. Okay. And we do this not because the old is wrong. Hear that. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's that you come to a new understanding, a new level of intelligence. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's like you can cook your dinner over a campfire. I personally would rather go turn on the stove. Okay. And now we choose to have fun going backwards because now we have these cookers that we use outside. Yet we have convenience. So you get to choose. No, neither one is wrong. And surrendering into, again, our topic, surrendering into the newness. When we surrender because we're ready, we're open, and we're willing, we're no longer kicking and screaming, then life simply flows through us. And I want to talk about our community because I believe that we are a community that is spiritually open. And as I was contemplating this, the first thing, because I'm humorous always, was you guys chose me, so you must have been ready for something. And I say that because, you know, that could be a scary thing. You're going to choose someone you really don't know. And what are my ways? What are my ideas? You kind of know my personality because I was with you guys for a little bit before that. But you were open to something expressing new. And I hope so far that hasn't let you down. I see it as wonderful so far. And yet I recognize that there is more desiring to express through our community. We made some small changes today, just in the order of service. Okay. And we're going to make some bigger changes. I say bigger in the sense of more profound changes for our community, and you're going to be a part of that. And I ask you to be consciously open to that. What, as comfortable as we are as a nice little niche community, there is a greater yearning of spirit to express through our community. Now, we don't know what that's going to look like, but the fear will say, oh, what if we had too many people at once and nobody will know who I am? Or this is just, you know, I could say, let's go, I'm going to go to hell. Or we can do this together as a community and enjoy each new step. And there are going to be things that we try that don't work. And there are going to be things that maybe somebody else brings in. We're going, yeah, let's use that. Right. So when we're open at the top, right, newness is not something that we're like, oh, I have to endure this. It's something, again, that we welcome and cooperate with. And I believe with that attitude, our community will continue to thrive. In the past, I wasn't always open. I had this kind of blockage where it was always this, like I had this is how I thought. And then there would be this new idea and it would kind of excite me, but in fear and, well, I guess just would contract. I would be like, comfort. That was the word I'm looking for. Like I'm in comfort, and oh, this sounds really cool, but I don't want it. And I'm going to say that most often, the better part of my life, it's been my wife that's shown me, well, this isn't really so bad, and it's really kind of where you were. It just looks a little different. And through this teaching, I've learned to recognize that it doesn't have to be this or that. And that's a big, and then we talk about this, but for me, that was a huge shift. And I still find myself sometimes like something new, like, instead of just going, oh, it's different. I may not necessarily prefer it, but I don't want to make it wrong. And my friends, one of the biggest things I can say is for this new year coming up, and if we're going to release something now, is the thought that we are wrong. It holds us back. I don't want to change. Oh, look at this. That's wonderful. But if I do this, that means I was wrong. No, it means you were doing the best you could with the information you had at the intelligence you were at. But now there's something new. And it's not that it's trying to show that you're wrong. It's trying to show that you've grown and that you're evolving and that it's waiting for you now. So open yourself to it. The last thing, talking point is a little different, so sit with me. And this, I want to talk about the rings of trees. And if you've ever, what I'm talking about is if you have a cross section, you cut a tree down and you look at the cross section of it, you see the rings. And if you've ever seen, we've probably all seen it. And generally we recognize that if you count the rings, that's kind of the number of years or its age, right? And yet, closer understanding, if we look a little deeper at the rings tell us a story of that tree's life to that point. For instance, if it was a good year of rain, abundant rain, the rings will be thicker. And conversely, if it was more of a drought or a drier year, they're going to be thinner. So you can tell what kind of year it was for the tree. If it's more of an actual circle going around, then that means that it had a stable season overall of nourishment and so forth. But if there was some trauma or experienced excessive heat or whatnot, then the ring would actually be kind of disformed during the time that it experienced that. Now, I bring this up to make the point. One, the tree, it's not judging itself through these years. It just recognizes what is. It doesn't try to erase the old rings as if they never happened, like we maybe try to erase some of our past behaviors or beliefs. It doesn't resent what happened. It simply just marked what happened so that it can learn and continue to grow around what was. Because all those things that had happened to it are still a part of it at that moment. It adds ring year after year. And it accepts, this is who I am through this experience. All of it, accepts all of it, and just continues to grow as its true self. And I believe that we are similar in that sense. We have these years, these seasons of struggle, of growth, of joy, of pain, of grief, of ease. Sometimes it's a whole year of awakening, and sometimes it feels like just a depressing going within. And yet we continue on if we allow ourselves to. And there will always be more. Yet we often get stuck in trying to erase the past, which, if you think about it, is messing up our current present place. Yet if we just allowed it with an open mind and a willingness, then we allow ourselves to expand beyond the struggle, the trauma, and so on. So we take what was, and going back to that beautiful phrase from Byron Katie, loving what is, and allow ourselves to go, okay, this is where I'm at, but it's not happening to me. It's not happening to you. It's happening through you, and it's always happening for you. For those times of stormy weather, allow us to see how strong we are, allow us to recognize the discipline that we have or don't have, allow us to really bring out our current understanding of our true self in life. Yet, if we just come back at the simplest form, you survived it. We survived it. When it was an illness or a loss, times of transition, again, jobs, relationships, just moving, or just general times that were uncertain, you survived it. And put on that cloak, carry your wand, whatever it is, you have the power. Sometimes we need these things to remind us this, right? But that sometimes those years that we feel constricted, or maybe we can look at them from a spiritual aspect of, it was just kind of cocooning us for a little while so that we had the time and energy to transform in the best way for us, for you. And going back to our community, I believe it has rings for itself. There were, and it's been through a lot of change, right? I'm your third, I believe, senior minister. And yet you've had other leaders and times of struggle. Then there was COVID. And all of those rings will allow us, if we openly together, look at that in wonder, in curiosity, in love, right? And bring that into this mindset that it's all a divine blessing and that it's all happening for us and it's all happening through us. This is why we collectively do our spiritual practices together through workshops, through classes. And it wasn't announced yet, but we're having Rachel and I, Reverend Rachel, we've already planned out the whole year's worth of classes, and we're having a brand new one in January called Spiritual Economics. More information will be coming out soon. More ways to shift my way of recognizing the abundance of everything that is already here. We're going back to this idea of rings, like the Ernest Holmes says, the past is gone, the future is yet to come, and the present is filled with infinite possibility. Now, someone who may not know our teaching says, well, how do I know what to expect? Well, what are you thoughtfully, consciously putting into this idea of the experience that we want to have? As a community, how do we want to see ourselves grow? The music, children, young adults, education, our own physical center, and all of it. I could talk for a while, right? Rings. And we're coming to the end of a ring right now, and we're going to yet start a brand new ring. And it has to do with releasing what no longer serves us, making some shifts. They don't have to be all, everything is a positive change, but they don't have to be, in a sense, big or little. Just allow them to happen. So bringing it all together, it's about being ready and saying yes, recognizing there is something to say yes to, and then being open at the top, trusting and having faith to let that infinite intelligence of God guide us. And remembering that the rings of trees allow us to see that every season it contributes to our growth. So as we surrender into this newness, again, the topic of today's talk, or the title of today's talk, it's about an active cooperation with Spirit, the Spirit that is guiding and who is me, who is you, who is expressing itself through all, right? It's our soul saying, I'm ready to grow. And we get our heart and our mind together on board and surrender peacefully. And really what we're surrendering, I think what's coming to me most, in order to allow this faith of love to come, we have to surrender this idea of fear. That if we have any fear, then we're not fully trusting. So let us just begin to shift into that love and trust. And to do this, we have helped another spiritual tool is affirmations. And it is today, I surrender into newness. I am ready. I am open at the top. I honor every ring of my becoming. Something beautiful is expanding in me now, and I say yes to it. And so it is, right? And so practice this, right? Put it in one of your pockets of your cloak. So let us affirm together that life is happening for us, happening through us. I recognize this power and presence that we call by many names: God, Spirit, Source, Love, you name it. It is all there is. And as I recognize myself as one with that, with all that it is, then fear doesn't exist, because I am of God, as all things are of God. And there are only scary things that I'm allowed to experience in this life experience to bring me back to this idea that there really is all and only love. I am grateful for the rings of my life, for the seasons of my life, and I welcome them all, in the sense that I recognize that there is that part of me, that true part of me, that God part of me that cannot experience, that never experiences fear or doubt or shame or guilt, because it knows nothing of it because of its level of intelligence. It knows who and what it is. And I open myself to understanding that. I am ready to understand what it is to be free of fear, and by just not even recognizing fear anymore, because it's laughable. Because my faith is, I know who I truly am and what I truly am. And in that truth, I know how I serve, which is just being the best me, the best version of spirit through me that I can be. And I recognize the truth that everyone else is on this journey with me, not against me, with me. I am grateful for this community. I'm grateful for this teaching. I'm grateful for this time to celebrate, and I am ready, willing, and open. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Joe. And so it is. Yeah. You're talking about the comfort versus growth, and that tension between the two reminds me of the caterpillar
Right.
going through its metamorphosis. If the caterpillar was too comfortable in its cocoon, then we would never have the goodness of butterflies. And
right. And think about that as a human perspective. Even if somebody now said, look, I'm going to put you in this chamber and we're going to break down your DNA to mush, that you can go be this godly being, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good. Or let me see how Bill does it first, and I'll wait.
Let me see how I can open up to that. Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, I welcome everybody to our conversation afterwards. So please join us. And I believe we're going to share.
And he's gone. So I just have a couple announcements I want to share with you. As always, we understand that we are all in a position of abundant prosperity. At least I know that I am. And there's several ways that, if you choose to, you can share that with our center and with our community. First is how I do it, is giving it with Zelle. And you can see how to do that in our newsletter. You can also give online through PayPal, and there's this little QR code can get you there, or you can just send us a check by snail mail, and the address is there, and also in our newsletter. And for that abundant contributions, we offer this affirmation for the offering. I am overflowing with love and abundance. I give from the source of my being, which is rich and unlimited with joy and excitement. I share from this overflow, and in return, the universe gives back to me in infinite ways, channels, and means. And so it is. All right, as Reverend Joe mentioned, he will be available for a Zoom conversation at noon today in 7 minutes or so. And if you want to join us, that link is in the newsletter. And outside from that, if you have questions or comments, you can always send Reverend Joe an email, and that address is there. Just another reminder, upcoming services. We have 3 of them in person this month. The next 2 are December 14th will be in person, and Reverend Joe will be talking about From Crackly to Supple. And then on the December 21st, we have an in-person. Reverend Joe and Reverend Rachel will be talking about The Grinch Within. And I am of the understanding that the Grinch will be making an appearance on that Sunday, the 21st. All right, now is the time when Marina will pull us all back in, and we will do our closing affirmation. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. All right, I'll kick it off. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all that I do.
I am it. I embrace it. And I share it just the way that it is.
And just the way that it is becoming. Thank you.
Life. Ooh, thanks for being here, everybody.
Love you.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah. We're still live.
We are still live.
Not
Okay.
Marina, but we're still live.
You can bring some food next week.
Countdown.
Yeah, on the 21st.
Yeah, and there will be a link provided for the sign up for the food. So check your newsletter for that.
Oh, good. Okay.
Marina, we're still going. You're not there.
I think Marina left us for a minute, and now
I
she's back.
accidentally hit the wrong button and just went all the way out. I'm like, oh, wait.
Are we done?
Press-
Are we
press
done
yes.
yet?
We're still here.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. I'll see you in
Still
5
going,
minutes.
Marina. We're
We're
still
I'm
live.
sorry?
we're still live, Marina.
We're still live, babe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dear.
Sorry. See you later, folks.